This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Fun 3-hour program lined up here over the next part of the afternoon here. We have Rich Gannon talking NFL in 15 minutes. Sal Palantonio, an hour from right now, loaded to the gills with information. Mike Palm's going to be in studio, and Matt Humans with his best bets in the NFL and college football this weekend. And, Paulie, we have 4 more games today in Major League Baseball, which is what we're going to start with here. And after yesterday's action, wild card totals are now 32-17 to the under, going back to 2015, and they are playing in the bottom of the 5th in Houston. There is no score. Astros have one on with nobody out. So this trend in the postseason now has been really, really good, going back for almost a full decade.
Yeah, and Jensen Lewis nailed it as well. We only had 2 home runs. You know, Tatis is the only guy who goes deep, unless you take out the meaningless home run in the bottom of the 8th that the Padres hit. So baseball at its best when it's played fast, a couple 2-hour games, a ton of drama. What happened in the bottom of the 9th in the Houston game, the Oriole game, and great start. So now, with this format now, only 2 teams have come back after losing game 1. And now we'll see what happens with the Astros, that you've made 7 straight trips to the LCS, and you could be going home unless you fail to do anything offensively. I thought the big winners yesterday were the Yankees. Who's given them fits over the years? The Astros. But if the Astros get knocked out, there's a scenario where the only thing standing in their way to the World Series would be the AL Central. So that's a good route for the Yankees if form holds here and you get the Royals and Tigers to advance.
Sure, I could see that. I mean, and they were really, really good against that division this year.
Correct.
So it makes some sense. So if a team does come back now, which one is it going to be? Doesn't happen very often. I mean, history tells you it's, 14-2?
Yeah.
To the team that wins game 1, going back now.
I still think it'd be the Astros because you have Kikuchi ready to go tomorrow.
I would lean that way as well.
Right. But I can't do it. I can't write off the Braves. I mean, even though it was all King and what they did, I thought the Padres just...
Oh, it turned out to be an unbelievable spot for the Padres.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it was going into it and it played out that way as well.
Yeah. But what King gave you, and then you relaxed after the home run by Tatis, but they didn't do much offensively. But they're to me, they're begging you to bet the Brewers, and they're begging you to bet the Padres today. That's a lot of respect for Fried, and certainly the history not on the side with the Brewers. They've lost 10 of their last 11 playoff games.
Yeah, nobody knows about this because they're a small market team and nobody really cares nationally about the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
They are a sad and pathetic postseason team. I know, I'm from there. The one exception, the year they brought in Christian Yelich, he won the MVP. They took the Dodgers to 7 games to go to the World Series. They were legitimately awesome. And as you saw yesterday, a couple problems, right? Fake ace, Freddie Peralta on the mound. Can't hold the 2-0 lead, and then the manager takes him out after 60-plus pitches. He was facing the bottom of the order in the 5th, and they yanked him. Peralta said after the game, I have no idea why I was taken out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't happy.
So he's not happy. But this Mets team, that's now the second time in 2 days they've scored 5 runs in an inning. Like, that never happened at the beginning part of the year. And
2 outs to Mitch also.
Yeah, everyone came with 2 outs, right?
Yep,
and so this is where it's, like, unpredictable this time of year. Again, going in, Brewers' second-best bullpen ERA in all of Major League Baseball. He yanks Peralta, head-scratching move. Okay, you go to the pen, reliable. No, they're not. You give up a 5 spot, you blow the lead and game 1, and now you're on the precipice here of losing the whole thing again.
And I'll tell you, then the Mets bullpen comes in, and they shut them on 9 up, 9 down.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was refreshing. It's one thing to lose 10 of 11 in the playoffs. How about you're the first team in history to lose 4 in a row with multiple run leads? That's another one, an indictment of Milwaukee. So it's a fascinating handicap because Manaea's been so good, but he just faced Milwaukee and he got roughed up. Before that start Friday, he was 6-1 with a 2.63 last 11 starts, and the Mets team was 10-1.
Right.
So here the Brewers are only $1.15 here at Circa.
Okay, so then how do you balance that? How do you weigh it? Because he was really good down the stretch. He got blasted last Friday against Milwaukee.
I think it was a fluke.
Okay, and I'll throw this at you then. His postseason numbers, 3 appearances, 13 earned runs, and 7 2/3. That's higher than a 15 ERA, and he allowed 6 home runs in that short amount of time that he was out there on the mound.
I took his over K prop at plus money at 5.5. I mean, this guy, I told you this. We've been talking about it a couple months. I mean, the guy looks like Santana out there what he's been doing, not only with the strikeouts, but also with his delivery and how it's looked. And the guy's been dynamite. So I think he can go over 6 and get it done. The thing that would concern me, which also they didn't do yesterday, was they didn't swipe any bags. You can run on this guy too. That could be something to look at if you want to look in the props that 23 of 27 were successful against them on the bases. So I understand your frustration. It kind of like Minnesota Twins Part 2. They finally exercised the demons last year, but it's like, how many of these games can you lose? Like the Orioles, are you going to lose 10?
Well,
10 in a row? I mean, come on.
Who do you trust more in the matchup than today? Sounds like Manaea, but you're saying the number looks short.
Well, I don't think Frankie's going to give you much.
I don't think so
either. There were so many books were reluctant to put an outs recorded prop up.
That's right.
Him.
His K prop is 4.5. Under is plus money.
Yeah. But it's hard to go against these guys with like it's meant to be, and they're coming back Monday and saying all the right things after the game. What, tired? We're playing a baseball game where juices are flowing, ready to go.
Right.
And that big inning can happen. So
look, you have my permission to tase me if I make a case for a postseason over very often. But if you do, would this be the one series where it's going to happen? It was the only game to go over yesterday.
Yeah.
We just ran down Manaea in the postseason. Last time at Milwaukee, got roughed up. Frankie Montas also 3 postseason games, 7 earned runs over 6 2/3. That's a 9.45 ERA. And because this is now lose and go home for the Brewers, and they do have that exceptional bullpen, and there was no Devin Williams yesterday. They had some other guys that never made an appearance. If he gets in trouble at all, I can see the hook being extremely fast with Montas today.
Yeah. What if I tell you the Mets score 8 runs and Lindor and Nimmo don't do anything? I mean, that you'd be shocked. So I could see the quick hook too. But
because of that, also, I believe that's one of the reasons why I lost the Severino outs prop. He's getting roughed up. He's at 80 pitches when our show ends going into the 5th inning yesterday. They give him 5 runs, so they're out. It's an 8-4 lead. They're like, okay, well, now we can throw him out there. We don't have to go to the pen. We can win this game with a 4-run lead now.
Yeah. I bet Lindor to have a single, $1.10, and I bet Ozuna to have a double, plus 450, with some of the props in some of the games.
I don't know, man. So what do you think of the total 7.5? Yeah.
I like the Met game over. I'm with you on the over. I don't know what to do in the Braves game with 6.5 because you want to trust Musgrove, okay? But,
yeah, he's been really, really good.
I know. I wouldn't be surprised if Fried can shut him down, though, as well. It's just I have to respect this organization, no matter who's out and who's hurt, that they just won't go away. And I will point out on ESPN.com, 23 of the 27 writers picked the Brewers to win the series. And as we talked about yesterday, all 27 picked the Padres. Take back on the Brewers now, plus 340 at Circa. It's on the Braves, plus 340 if you think Atlanta can come back.
All right, some good numbers here on Fried overall. He won his final 2 regular season starts. He was really good. 1 earned run in 14 2/3 innings, 0.61 ERA. He almost pitched a complete game shutout against the Royals. Mm-hmm. However, in 11 career postseason starts, he's 2-4 with a 4.30 ERA, and he's allowed 3+ runs in 4 out of his last 5 playoff starts. The Braves used 11 relievers, Paulie, over the past 2 days. Their last road win in the playoffs, it was when they clinched the 2021 World Series in Houston when Max Fried was on the mound. Since then, they have lost 5 straight on the road, and they've been outscored 34-7. Now, when you break down the lefty versus righty matchups for the Padres on offense, this doesn't make sense to me. But versus righties on the year, they were number 1 overall with an average of 272. That dropped off significantly to 239 against lefties. And you look at Tatis, another home run last night. The kid's been on fire against a right-handed pitcher. This year, his slash line was 293, 334, 547 with 19 home runs against righties. He batted 224 with 2 homers against lefties. Can you make sense of this?
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why they're getting crushed by not having Chris Sale in the series.
Yeah. And this team has been the best in baseball going back. Remember, they started 50-50.
Right.
So how good this team has been. And I thought I was watching Kevin Brown last night.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Oh.
I love masterful pitching performances in the postseason. Yep. Nothing better.
And guys that don't, screw around. Give me the ball, let's go. And you knew he was on, King, in the first inning with what he was doing. But he was electric, and that atmosphere was great. So they'll be rocking again tonight. So one more thing on this format, too. Since we went to this new format, if the home team wins game 1, every single time they've won game 2. So that's something to factor in if you like the Padres, but only $1.15, $1.20 here at Circa for game 2 tonight in the elimination game.
Well, what do you want to do with the game coming up in about 30 minutes? Orioles' life on the line.
I don't like it. There's nothing to like about the Orioles.
I got to be honest. This number is $1.50 range. Okay, Seth Lugo. Here's another one. Make this make sense. His outs prop is 14.5. Can he just finish 5 innings? Right?
Sure.
Guess how many? He made 33 starts this year. Guess how many times Seth Lugo did not reach at least 15 outs in a game out of 33 starts?
3.
Good guess. Twice.
Yeah.
He was an innings monster for the Royals.
Yeah, I bet his K prop over too. I think the way they're going and how they're scuffling, and they know it too. They're going to be tight. They've lost 9 in a row.
And
is that fair? Oh boy.
Do we have a home run?
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay.
Tigers lead off the inning.
Solo shot.
1-0, top of the 6th.
Here's the deal. I have his outs prop over 15.5 today. It's in the 6th. There are no outs. Will we see this team go to the pen right now after a solo home run? Or do they leave Brown out there for... do not make a mound visit here, please. For the love of God, don't get my day started like this.
No, he's been great. But he's
been awesome.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're going to get out of this guy. That we talked about. That was asinine that he bunted last night in the 9th inning. He lowered their win probability and odds to win the game. He bunts 4 straight hits to start the inning. The spot of bunts, first and second, nobody out. Lowered the win probability and lowered their chances to score.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that it lowered all of that, the percentages there. All right, up next, former NFL MVP Rich Gannon will join the program. We'll get his opinion on the cadence controversy with the New York Jets on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our How to Bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the sports betting network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social, learn the game, and know the odds. Play with legal operators, and if you need help, reach out. Visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we're going to go over fresh odds posted on the next team for current Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams. They are out. Multiple spots, including DraftKings. We'll kick that around at that time and go over maybe some logical landing spots at that point. We are going to get Rich Gannon on the horn here in a minute as well. We'll get his thoughts on Adams. Is he done? Is he gone? Is it going to happen? And then we got to talk about this cadence controversy in New York. You see the Vikings went up to 3 now today.
Yeah, I agree with the move. I also think he's on the move, and it's going to be a done deal. The question is, where's he going to go? And this is getting juicy. But now there are reports that they're not going to give him up to the Chiefs. But then I saw Diana Rossini report about the Steelers could be in this.
Yeah.
Washington is a sexy landing spot. And this would be good.
What do you think about that? The Commanders.
Yes, I'm on board.
What do you think about the Cowboys? Is that a move that Jera would do? It feels like it is.
I can see that, yeah.
And they need help, right?
Yeah.
All right, so former NFL MVP Rich Gannon joins the program now. He is on the Progressive guest line. Rich, good to talk to you as always. We were just kicking around Davante Adams. Do you think at this point it's a done deal?
Guys, just the way it sounds, it doesn't sound like Davante is going to be back in a Raider uniform anytime soon. There's a lot going on there. Obviously, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. And, the Raiders won without him last week on the field, so I think they've got a real good sense of what that looks like. And, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So, my sense is that he's not happy with the current quarterback situation with the Raiders. He's played with 6 different quarterbacks since he came to the Raiders back in 2020, 2021. Mm-hmm. And look, it's been a struggle. I think he signed on for Derek Carr. They moved on from Derek Carr. Garoppolo didn't work out last year. And of course, you look at what's happening this year. They can't run the ball. And my sense is he'd rather go play with one of his former teammates, either Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers in New York.
Okay, so a team in their division, they need help as well. The latest, obviously, with Rashee Rice going down, unfortunately, with the injury. Hollywood Brown's out for the year. They need help for Patrick Mahomes at that position. Would you, if the price is right and they were going to offer more than any other team, division rival here, would you consider trading him to Kansas City, or at no cost would you do that?
I don't think that would ever happen. At that point, I think Mark Davis would be involved with Tom Telesco, the general manager. I can't imagine the Raiders sending him to Kansas City, and of course the Chiefs going on to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. I mean, that would be too painful, I think, for Mark and for the rest of the Raider organization. Look, if anything, you look first and foremost, outside the division, and then you look outside the conference. I mean, I think ideally I'd love to send him to the NFC and not have to deal with him in the AFC.
How's the fit with the Jets? How do you see that if he's reunited with Rodgers and he can play with Wilson?
Garrett Wilson has been missing in action. The tight end position hasn't been great in New York. And yet, you look at what's going on there. The Jets remind me a little bit of the Raiders right now. I mean, they take a step forward, take a step back. I don't know what's going on there, but, if Breece Hall isn't a big part of the plan, he had 18 scrimmage yards last week. It's tough for the Jets right now. The passing game looks out of sync, and you've got this quarterback that can still zip it, can still throw it. But I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. I don't know if it's the personnel. But to me right now, the Jets certainly don't look like a top 5 offense.
Rich, were you a big cadence guy? Because Rodgers has used this as a weapon, and now you have the cadence controversy where, and Sal is saying, well, we got to be more disciplined with it. But they had 5 offensive penalties with the false starts, what happened. And you have that as an issue now. So where do you stand on the cadence controversy and how you used it throughout your career?
Yeah, I used it. I wish we would have been as complicated. I mean, it's a pretty complicated system, and they work on it all the time. It's something that Aaron brought with him from Green Bay, and it's a weapon. And to not use it would be a huge mistake. I just think there's some communications issue. After the game, he's asked about it, and he's emotional. And then of course the head coach said maybe we're doing too much, and so that wasn't a good look for the head coach and for the quarterback not to be on the same page. But I think it would be a huge mistake. He's very good at it. They get some free opportunities. They get teams having difficult time making substitutions. It's a weapon for Aaron Rodgers, and it'd be a huge mistake for them not to lean on it more as the season goes on.
Yeah, and well said. And I'll remind the audience of something we talked about the first time we had a chance to visit with Rich Gannon. Mike McCarthy said he's the most prepared quarterback he's ever been around or coached. Well, how do you fix Miami? What do you do if you're McDaniel? What would you do if you're a quarterback? They took one shot deep to Tyreek Hill Monday night.
Well, when you bring in guys off the street to play quarterback for you, it's on Monday night. It's a problem. So, look, this team is 1-5 without Tua Tagovailoa and in the lineup. They're a different team. I mean, how it affects Hill and Waddle, they're not getting the ball, and even how it affects Mike McDaniel calling plays. So it's a big issue right now. It's tough, guys, when you don't have your starting quarterback, and then you go to your backup quarterback and he gets hurt, and then you bring another guy and he gets hurt, and then you bring a guy in off the street. It has a huge impact on everything that they're doing offensively. The game plan has had to be scaled back. You have a quarterback that wasn't part of your offseason program or training camp. It is a huge issue. This is amazing. You take a team that was picked to win the AFC East, they may finish dead last in the AFC East the rate they're going. Yep. They need to get Tua Tagovailoa back under center.
Well, on that note, I looked at Week 5 NFL composite rankings, power ratings today, like pulled from 6, 8, 10 sources that are really good at this stuff. They have the Dolphins power rated as the worst team in the NFL right now. And they look like it on TV. The number 1 overall team, Rich, is Baltimore. I think they look awesome. I know that they have 2 losses, but they blew both of them. Do you agree with Baltimore being that high?
It's amazing when you can run the ball that effectively. You look at the numbers with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together, guys. I think they're on pace for like 3,200 rushing yards, something ridiculous. and they're built that way. I mean, Derrick Henry, I mentioned today on my show that the most impressive free agent acquisition so far has been Derrick Henry. He looks great in purple and black. He's one of those throwback backs that gets better as the game goes on. He can wear down a defense. His conditioning is outstanding. He's a big, he's 247 pounds. They got one of the bigger offensive lines in football. You bring in Patrick Ricard. You got a quarterback that can run. A quarterback that can run keeps defensive coordinators up at night, and they really have it going on right now. And I think, look, what was so shocking to me was that, Baltimore or Buffalo knew what they had to do. They had to stop the run. They still couldn't do it. And I think that speaks volumes about the Ravens' ability to run the football right now.
Could you imagine being a 180-pound cornerback or a little bit heavier than that, playing safety, and here he comes rumbling at you, and you got to be like, okay, I'm between him and the end zone, so what am I going to do here?
How about the stiff arm, guys? I mean, honestly, like I think he's the toughest tackle in football right now. I mean, He's got the size. He's got the length. When he gets up in the second level, he can run. We saw him run, the first play of the game. You don't see a lot of running backs that are 247 pounds running away from corners and safeties in the NFL. So he's got rare and unusual speed for the size. I mean, I just sometimes you scratch your head and say, why did the Tennessee Titans let go of Derrick Henry? Why is Saquon Barkley wearing green and white and not blue and red and playing for the Giants? I mean, these are decisions that, like, from a front office perspective, how do you make? How do you let your best player walk out the building? Yeah. And I think when you look at what happened with the Giants, he was their best player. You look at with the Tennessee Titans, he was their best player. And now both of those players are top 3 in rushing in the NFL.
Yeah, and you look at how important rushing yards are so far this year. It's the most rushing yards per game on average per team going back like almost 3 decades, I believe. And it's a low. We've talked to you about this so far on the season. The passing yards are still way down, barely now averaging over 200 yards per game.
Yeah, you know what's the most demoralizing thing for a quarterback? To stand on the sidelines and watch another team run the ball up and down the field. Because, obviously it equates to time of possession. Mm-hmm. It equates to opportunities, chances for me to have the football. So, I look at really good teams that can run the ball. The other thing, guys, we've seen this. Atlanta is 2-2. They'd be a lot better if they had any idea how to convert a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1.
Yes.
Short yardage and goal line offense. The team's inability to score down in the red zone. It's hard. Good red zone teams have the ability to run the football down there. So you look at a Derrick Henry and what that means to the Ravens, not just in the open field, but in short yardage and goal line situation down in the red zone. That was a huge, huge get for John Harbaugh and the Ravens.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, we love talking to you every single week. Tremendous insight as always. Thank you for the time.
You guys are the best. Thanks.
Thank you,
Back
sir.
at you. There you go.
Yep.
Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon on the Progressive Guest Line.
He's been talking about it for 2 weeks. Teams don't practice it and how bad the short yardage plays have been, and teams not getting it done.
How do you not? How do you just not look at the last 10 years of film and say, come on, Let's be the innovators here.
Yep.
Let's be the team that everybody wants to copy.
Goes back to Miami for the first game with Thompson. They were 1 of 15 on 3rd and 4th down. I mean, you got Hill, you have Waddle, you have Achane. How do you go 1 of 15? Well, 1-0, bottom of the 6th, Tigers. This is getting real now. Pitching chaos at its finest. Oh, boy. You made a good point during the break. How about Parker Meadows to have the most home runs in the series?
If this holds,
you're right.
Crazy. So up next, we'll expand on the Davante Adams discussion, logical landing spots, and we have odds for his next team. We'll go over it all coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VSiN has to offer. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $9.99. Don't miss out on this offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Expanding on this Davante Adams conversation, I think it's also pretty much a done deal that he's not going to come back. I mean, it's quite evident at this point. Antonio Pierce is on social media liking posts that, the Raiders are interested in now listening to conversations about trading him. Adams basically saying the same thing. Then yesterday reports are coming out with that. Look, I mean, I don't know how you bring him back now. After Pierce, I think, pretty much called him out without saying his name 2 weeks ago by saying players are making, it's him. He was making the business decision. And I doubt that he's actually hurt, to be honest. And so now you can bet on possible landing spots for his next team. I will throw this out there real quick. I know everybody else has shot this down, including Rich Gannon. Here's why I don't have a problem trading him to the Chiefs. He's 32 years old. I'm saying if they offer the best package out of every team, that potentially could make an offer for him.
Which could happen.
Sure. He's 32. He has a couple years maybe left of being like super effective before he really starts to fade off. I mean, it's just that's the history of aging wide receivers. It happens to everybody. Okay, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, you're not trying to catch the Kansas City. You got to get your stuff in order first. I won't even be worried about the Kansas City Chiefs. You're not even in the same stratosphere as that team. You need to get everything right here as much as you possibly can with this organization first. So you give them for 2 years, whatever, he's going to be good, and then you can start to see the decline, and then your first-round pick or second-round pick, whatever you get from him, is going to be 22 years old and like reaching his prime football playing years.
It didn't work out for him. I mean, it's just in terms of the organization. If you're going to get this guy and pay him all this money, and then you move Carr. Garoppolo didn't work out. The other guys have been a disaster. He's looking around like, oh, boy, what happened here?
Well, that's why there's a report, right, that says basically it's two teams.
Yes.
The Saints because of Derek Carr.
Yep.
Jets because of Aaron Rodgers.
Right, but it also comes down to that's the wish list, and we go through this all the time in the NBA. Here's where I want to go. You make it difficult on the organization, but then who comes up with the best package? I think Pittsburgh's intriguing, the third choice, plus 450. I love Washington at 8-1. You mentioned Dallas at 8-1.
Hold on.
Yeah?
There was an offshore book that originally posted Dallas 66-1.
Wow.
I made plenty of phone calls. Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There you go. Good for you. And then the stay put is 12-1, and the Chiefs 12-1 as well. I know where you're coming from, but to me, I'm with Gannon. I don't think Davis would do it, and it'd be hard to do that as well to help them out and get the three-peat. Wake up every morning with the morning line. This is Michael Lombardi earlier today, by the way, 7 a.m. Eastern, with Harrison and Grace. Where's he going to go, and who does it make sense for?
The Jets, that's who might do it, right? The Jets might do it. Now, I don't know if they'll pay it too, but to me, the only team that this makes sense for is what Aaron Rodgers said in Lake Tahoe, Harrison, that maybe Davante and I will get together again. But the problem with the Jets are you got Garrett Wilson complaining. He can't get the football. They have one of the worst passed offenses in all of football. Remember, this is like people have such short memories. This offseason, the Jets attempted to replace Nathaniel Hackett. But they wanted to do it by bringing in a senior assistant to kind of run things. But that didn't work out, so they kept Hackett. That problem didn't go away, just like this problem with Davante Adams didn't go away. And so these two problems, they need to meet together. And if Davante comes back to the Jets, he's not going to improve their team at all. They can't get the ball to their best receiver.
Yeah, I agree. So you trust Hackett? And there's too many cooks in the kitchen, too.
Right.
I mean, we just scored 9 points against the Broncos. So now you're going to have another guy who's going to certainly want the ball. Your friendship can only go so far. But maybe it helps out Wilson. But then on paper it would look good. But then you got problems with the head coach and the cadence stuff and the other. It's a Mickey Mouse operation.
Right. Well, you've been saying this now every week pretty much, right? How important coaching is to these teams and also individual players. I will tie this in. I saw some graphs of route running and that so far JSN has done in Seattle compared to what he was with Waldron as the OC.
Yeah.
And JSN warned the media. He said basically it's a vanilla offense. We're doing nothing here. It's night and day. And then if you compare now Waldron is in Chicago,
right.
what DJ Moore was running before compared to what he's running today, it's completely flipped. And DJ Moore looks like he's pissed off every single game.
Sure.
Throwing the helmet, not even looking back at Caleb Williams.
And then we read those quotes yesterday, what Wilson said about their offense. Well, we're not creative and we're not doing much.
That's exactly
to
right.
Give me the ball. You're exactly right. And Waldron's been a disaster in Chicago.
And I brought that up because Hackett clearly cannot fix this stuff.
No, he has no business being in the NFL. Look at his resume. Horrible coordinator. Every single stop. But that leads me to Washington. Who's awesome? Kingsbury. Who's awesome? Daniels. And now you get him another weapon, another playmaker? Then it's scary stuff.
Give you some numbers on this. So Terry McLaurin currently has a 27% target share. No other player on the team is higher than 12%. McLaurin's off to, now that they finally realized the deep ball in Washington a couple of weeks ago and they're going to him, McLaurin's in store for a pretty nice year. You tag team Terry McLaurin with Davante Adams, that is, already how Jaden Daniels looks, my goodness. What's the limit then for Washington this year? What's their ceiling? 12 wins? I want to get nuts here. Division winners, which I already think they can do.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Got the new owner, too. Go for it.
Sure.
Why not? Go for it. There were rumblings with Cleveland. Why are they 50, 60 to 1? That can't happen? No way that can happen? Where are you at, Rizzo?
I mean, at a number here, I don't think it makes any sense, but at that number, 50 to 1, right? Because if you put Adams on that offense, in theory, with Deshaun Watson dropping back to pass, if the offensive line can get back to full health, then we're talking about Amari Cooper, Davante Adams, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku when he comes back as well. That should be a passing attack that's like top 5 in the NFL, but it's Deshaun Watson at quarterback.
Yep.
I'm glad you brought up the Steelers.
Yeah, because Fields looked good Sunday.
And we can't forget that with Justin Fields as his quarterback, DJ Moore last year had 96 for 1,374 yards. Like, it's possible to make it that Justin Fields can actually make it work with a good or good receivers on his team. And I think Pickens is actually really, really good on top of it. It's a pretty good combo. Can they win that division? Might be unlikely because the back end is so difficult. I know we've said that 7,000 times.
Yeah.
But can they be a playoff team? Of course they can be with their hot start. Yes.
They're asking A2. I don't think they're going to get that, but
yeah,
goes back to how teams hold on to these draft picks. And but
I'm telling you,
it's a good list. It's a good list. And New Orleans, I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen there. Don't you think? They have enough weapons. It's all about Carr.
I think that's all about Carr.
I mean, they have enough guys to throw it to.
Yeah, but again, that's a wish list, and does that actually would that come true? And if they're willing to give the most, compared to any other team in the league, then the Raiders would say certainly, yeah. I don't want this to linger to like the trade deadline. Just make the move already.
Oh yeah, this doesn't. Yeah, well, what are you you're not gonna play him every week?
Is that the plan?
You notice
right?
what he did the other day? He got out in front of it and did that interview with Kay Adams and basically said, I don't know what's going on. He played played dumb. Like, the Taco Bell commercials. I mean, he's like, I don't know what's going on. And he knew what was going on. But between the stuff on Instagram and Pierce, it's just, why is this organization a laughingstock? What has happened here?
They can't.
My dad was a huge Raider fan growing up. I mean, this is silver and black. This is
right.
This shouldn't be like this. Between the mess off the field, the Gruden stuff, the move, and coming in, and every game, it's the opposing fans taking over. The organization needs to do a better job.
Oh, it's been going on now for how long? Actually, Rich Gannon would be the perfect guy to ask this to. Since the Super Bowl run?
Yeah, and he does the preseason games. He would know, yeah.
Right? I mean, it's honestly like the whiffs in the draft almost every single year. Just the complete incompetence pretty much across the board when you're trying to hire new coaches and make it work. The list of coaches that they've had here now with this organization, it's laughable when you go back a good 10, 12, 15 years.
The best guy they had was the Versace, the special teams guy.
Yeah, and then he never had a chance to get the job.
He didn't bring him back. He took him to the Super Bowl. And then they went in, the playoffs.
The playoffs, right, yeah.
And they brought in McDaniels, and he ran into the ground.
That was the same year Henry Ruggs killed that person driving 155 miles an hour, and John Gruden got canned because of the emails. And they were off to a horrible start. Versace saved their season, made the play. No, this guy, no chance.
Yep. Excellent. All right. It's getting juicy here. Bottom of the 7th, 1-0 Tigers. 2 on, 1 out, 2-0 count. Meeting at the mound. All right. Follow the money. Great offer. 40% off our football season special. Code FTM. Full access, everything we do through the Super Bowl. Daily best bets. every host, every guest, 19 hours live programming, proven betting systems, betting splits, update every 5 minutes, 40% off this week only. Use code FTM when you sign up. Promo code FTM. It expires October 7th. VSiN.com/subscribe. VSiN.com/subscribe. Hit by pitch and then Pena singled.
And nobody out.
Yep, that's how it started. And now, nobody out. Excuse me. Yes, and now it's 2-0.
Oh, this is their big phenom too. Job on the mound.
Oh, boy.
All right, win some, lose some is up next, and we've been doing this for a long time. I cannot recall any player props being priced remotely close to what his numbers are for the game this weekend. I was blown away to see this. We'll give you the details coming up here on VSiN.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Underdogs 3-1 yesterday in MLB. Royals plus 130, Tigers plus 120, Mets plus 135. Tatis home run plus 320. Most runs, Mets plus 850. Fewest runs, dead heat. Orioles and Braves both shut out. Orioles plus 850, Braves plus 550. Parker Meadows to go deep today plus 775 at BetMGM. Hunter Brown over 6.5 strikeouts plus 140. That cashes. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. At Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send it in. We'll put you on television. Everyone does this with their kids. You ever do it with the dogs? Look at measuring his height with the little puppy. I'm like, okay, this is how big you are when we got you. And then we're going to continue to look at his face. God, what are you doing to me? Right up against the wall? Mark it? All right. It's Tommy. My parents did that when I was growing up.
Same here.
They did that about how, let's see where he's at now and see how the kid grows. Do it with the dogs as well. Mitch, I can't get enough. We're going. Let's go to the hippos. Hippos again with the watermelons. But look at this. This is like Costanza with the shrimp. Look at the end here where they just keep throwing the watermelons in the mouth. And then you get to the end, right? And it's like, well, how much can I fit in here? How much can I put? Okay, lettuce, watermelons, throw something, apples, right? Look at the end. Look how much stuff he's got in there. How much can I stuff in there? He says, give it all to me. The hippo's just like, load me up. See how much you can get in here. I'm 6,000 pounds, buddy.
It's like Hippo Ratatouille here that they're playing.
Yes, I can put it all down. Not a problem at all. Piece of cake. Excellent.
He's just got chunks of other watermelon just hanging there in his mouth.
Yeah, right? Watermelon, lettuce, just throw it in. Just bring it all in, right? No problem. Yep. And also win some after today. 57 straight days where we have football. Good job now because college starts with the Tuesday and the Wednesday night games moving forward. And that's an excellent job with these smaller conferences. Get your games on national TV. And also, like for the James Madisons of the world, and get out there where you can show your product and see if you can make the playoff and other people can see what you have.
Yeah. Email here, ftm@vsin.com. On this note, Scott is asking, how many days can you win out of 55 days of straight football?
Oh, man.
It's a great question.
I know. There was a lot of games, too. There's like 4 games for this Friday. There's some triple headers on a Wednesday. It's great. Nothing worse in this world than getting bombarded across social media with people trying to sell you subscriptions to betting picks without any transparency. If you get red hot and think your picks are worth money, Juice Reel changing the way bettors buy and sell betting advice. You and everyone else links their accounts into Juice Reel. All your history loads into the free app. Everyone's bets imported straight from the books. You're as good as your data says you are. Unlock the picks that real talented bettors have their money on. Get paid real money when other people unlock your picks. Fully transparent betting advice from real people. Only on Juice Reel, REEL. Download for free, iPhone, Android. Get your phone, download the sucker now. Juice Reel, REEL. FTM@vsin.com. James from Jersey sent this in. I was at the game Sunday. The Jets organization's a disaster. Pre-game, they were honoring past players. They couldn't get the video board and audio on the right players. The national anthem cuts out after it started, and then came back on at the end. I felt terrible for the young gal. It should have been her big moment. The coaching staff is clueless. The only hope is Rodgers takes over the meetings and the game plan. I wonder if the local meteorologist works for the team, too. Forecast rain stopped 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, and so on. It was still raining when I got home at 8 o'clock. I'm done with the games and this staff. Tailgating, 9 a.m., cold, wet, disgusted. Like the show, James in Jersey.
Great email, James. I love it.
Yep.
And the entire region can feel your pain.
Yep.
And how many thousands, if not more, people can relate to every word that he just emailed.
Got to sit in the rain and watch that crap and lose 10-9 to a quarterback that threw for 60 yards.
They can't get anything right.
First and goal from the 1, you can't score.
How about the poor girl singing the career highlight?
Yep.
They can't get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yep.
This is not high school or Division III football we're talking about here.
Yeah. So I mentioned I took some Genty 10-1 to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
And we were running through everything about his. He had 193 and 3 touchdowns against Oregon. So
if they won that game.
I know. So he's a running back. I don't want to hear, 10-2, not good enough, whatever. He doesn't play defense. I mean, he's going to do his part. And he had 4 touchdowns and 200-plus, again, against Washington State and broke 6 tackles on his first touchdown. So they play Utah State coming up Saturday. And this kid's appointment TV and appointment viewing. And they also come out here at the end of the month taking on UNLV. But now we have props up on Genty against Utah State.
So the first observation on this for an anytime touchdown score, just one, all he has to do, right? Get into the end zone. Minus 3,500 to score 1 touchdown.
Oh, God.
To score 2 touchdowns opened, minus 480? And maybe the funniest part of the whole thing is to score 3 touchdowns, the first number on it was minus 155.
Yeah.
That's all Paul, 3? It's easy enough, right? Minus 155?
Yeah.
A much stronger chance in 50-50 for him to score 3 touchdowns. Here's what I would do.
He's averaging a first down a carry.
That's pretty decent.
He's on pace, again, 2,500 yards, 39 touchdowns. That's what he's on pace for.
So the highest number I've ever seen was last year. Christian McCaffrey was on that roll at the 49ers. One book, a national book, opened up his anytime touchdown number at minus $9. And I said there's only one bet to make. That would be the no. They didn't offer a no. He did not score a touchdown that game.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely look at the no on all of this. You give me a 20-1 on no touchdown, I will take that. You give me plus 125 on not scoring 3 touchdowns? Yes. I don't care if he has 7 touchdowns, which he could do.
Yeah, could be pulled at halftime.
Out of principle, I have to bet the no on this stuff, but it's not offered.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be closer to game time.
I don't know how much they're into it like Miami is. Let's get him the award and let's get him, pad the stats because he was pulled in the Portland State game. But that's something else where it's just if he can rip one off against Oregon though, I mean it's just is the guy going to have a 70-yard touchdown plus? That's a good number. What's that? Well, make it $1.30. Yes. He's 189. Is it 189 and a half? The rushing yards?
I thought it was 194 and a half or something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, look what the rushing yards prop is. I mean, this is.
Let me see here. That should be up. Rushing yards. It's down to 188 and a half now.
Okay.
Okay. You want? Okay.
Mitch, he's going to. If
Paul,
he stays healthy, I mean,
this is tremendous. They are offering alternate rushing yards on Genty. Will he run for 110 plus yards this weekend? You want to lay $12?
Oh boy.
Plus 150 plus yards is minus 320. Okay.
Wow.
But here, let's climb the ladder here. Will he get to 200 yards? Is plus 112. What about 225? That's plus 198. And then for him to go off 250 plus yards, plus 320. What we should do is bring on like a Boise State guest and just ask him, do they want to get him this?
Yep,
do they want to get him 300 yards rushing? Do they want him to break Barry Sanders' all-time record? Do they want to get him the Heisman? If so, then I would flip it and say, okay, well then, if that's a goal here and they're going to stay in, they're going to keep him in the game when it's, 48-6 in the third quarter to get him some more scores, then I'll change my opinion on that.
Utah State, Hawaii, bye week, UNLV, San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, Oregon State. And then fingers crossed, Mountain West title game. Oh, is he going to eat? Ooh, he's going to be the hippo. He's going to put up so many ridiculous stat lines and numbers.
I'm actually dying to see what it's going to look like against this UNLV defense.
Yeah.
That would be maybe the one unit that could really hold, on paper anyway, hold him in check for a full game. But what's in check? 115 yards and a touchdown?
Yeah.
That's a terrible game for him at this point.
Yeah. By his standard, that's right.
Mm.
Can you trust the bullpen here? Madness in Houston. Houston got 2 in the bottom of the 7th. Somehow the Tigers got out of it. It was 1-1. Was it 1-1? Bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah.
And Houston only got 1 more, and now back-to-back hits for the Tigers in the 8th. So first and third, 1 out as they're trying to come back and tie it. And under 5.5 and 4.5 in play now, for me, doesn't look good at all.
Wow.
After this was scoreless in this, wild pitch.
Oh, boy.
Did he? No, he stayed. Yeah. No, he did score.
No, he scored.
Dude, unbelievable. Wild pitch. Unbelievable.
There you go. Tie game, 2 apiece. Yeah. And the Royals got one immediately against the Orioles. They lead 1-0.
Yep. Boy, oh boy.
Playoff baseball is, I was not joking yesterday when Derek Stevens was in studio. I would power rate my postseason action, baseball number 1, hockey right behind it by just a tick. Number 3, I go NFL. Number 4, NBA. I'm not going to include college football because we've never had a 12-team playoff until this year. Not a true playoff. But college football will, I'm sure, be number 1 very soon, or close to it anyway. Up next, Sal Paolantonio, going to join the program from ESPN, and he has a ton of great notes to go over. He's going to be in Washington for the Commanders and Browns game this weekend. Does he like the Commanders to cover yet again?
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis on